Here's a very short video about narrative writing options and the 3 choices you'll have on the Common Assessment. Option 1, you can create or expand the moment. Here you extend a moment that's not really developed in the story. You see the example down below. Naya's first water trip taking her little sister, Akir. Now, that's something mentioned in the story, but it's not really developed. So if you had that task, you would do a deep dive into really fleshing out that moment in the story. The next option, number 2, perspective change. Here you would rewrite a scene from a different narrative perspective. So you see the example, rewrite chapter 1 from the teacher's point of view, first person. Going this route, you're not changing any of the actions or the events in that chunk of the story. You already know them all. The only thing you're changing is the perspective. Option 3, continue the story, logically continue the story from where it stops. So it's as if the story is chopped off at one point and you have to continue it in your own words, logically, based off of what's already happened and what you know about the story. For example, you see below, will Salva join Mariel on his trip to Ethiopia or not? And your choice, whichever one of those 3 options you choose, will impact the way you plan with a story map. For instance, if you did that middle option, number 2, the perspective change, you would fill out an entire story map, beginning, middle, end, that recaps all the events you've seen in that part of the story. You're not creating anything from scratch because you're simply recapping the events you already know. The only thing you're changing in your writing is the perspective, but you already know the events. But let's say you did the continuation, for example, you would fill out the beginning row based off of what you already know in that part of the story. But then you would create on your own the middle, end, and theme parts. Now let's really quickly take a moment to see how this looks in Edulastic. I'm not sure if on the student end it'll look exactly like this, but it should look more or less like this. So you're going to take a practice assessment. Here's what it is. You'll read a short part of a chapter and answer some multiple choice questions. Not too many. And then here's the last part. You're going to come to the narrative writing part. You'll see you have space to write your narrative here on the right side, but it's a split screen. On the left, you'll have options. Now on the assessment itself, I believe you'll have 3 options. Here I'm giving you 2. For this practice one. So if you want option 1, here's the prompt. It's for an expand the moment choice. Write a narrative showing Akira's trip to the medical clinic. And then it'll say, base it off paragraph 2 from chapter 8. Go to tab 2 for that section of the text. So you would click tab 2. And here it is, chapter 8's paragraph 2. Your narrative writing will be based off this. But now, let's say I wanted to pick option 2 instead. Write a narrative showing Naya taking Akira for the first time on the water trip. Use these paragraphs from chapter 4. Go to tab 3. Okay, so now tab 3 would have the relevant text for this narrative plan. So you're going to see when you take the Edulastic assessment, the tabs here, you're going to use them depending on whichever option you go. Make sure as you read the options carefully, you look to see which tab it directs you to check out. Also, I'll say it one more time. The story map is the one part of the Common Assessment you're going to do which is not on Edulastic. You're going to do the story map in Google Classroom in our classwork packet before you do the actual narrative writing itself right here in the box on Edulastic. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.